Welcome to Sirius's training series. This video will cover inactivating and updating products through the Adjust Product Information screen. To navigate to the Adjust Product Information screen, we're going to come to our Setup menu, and we are going to navigate to Pricing Setup, and then Adjust Product Information Setup. This will give us sort of like an Excel grid available of all the products that come with the dataset. Our focus in this topic is to inactivate any products that we don't produce in-house. However, double check with your point person if you're working in architectural or vehicle wraps. There are some child processes that they may not want you to turn off depending on your setup and how you're going to approach those products. For a detailed description of the different products offered, please reference back to your startup steps. There's a downloadable PDF available with a description and examples of what each product represents. For the purpose of this video, we're going to discuss changing a few of the default options on those products and also how you can inactivate the product. So on our right hand toolbar, there is an edit button. If we click that, it brings us into an editable mode to allow us to make changes. If we wanted to turn off a whole category, for example, if you don't do textiles at all and you've already talked to your point person, there's nothing in there that you will be using, you can click from this level to turn off all the products and sub-products of this whole category. Just as a warning, it does take a while depending on how many connections it has to inactivate. So just if you turn off the whole product or the whole category, do give it a few minutes to run through all of its checks. In this case, I am going to expand Digital Ready, and we are going to look at some of the primary products, primary digital products here. And as an example, I'm not going to produce promotional items in-house, such as pens, cups, bags, things of that nature. So I'm going to inactivate that product by clicking on it individually. I'm going to leave the category active so it doesn't affect any of my other products, but I can inactivate that one product. I'm also going to inactivate reprographics. In my example, I am not doing any type of equipment leasing or blueprint printing. So I'm going to turn off the whole category. It's going to ask me if I want to make all the subcategories and products inactive. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to give it a second to run through all the options. This is a rather small category, so it happened rather fast. But your bigger categories or your primary categories, as you can see, could house a lot of subcategories and a lot of products that it needs to filter through and turn off. Some of the updates that I'm going to talk about on this product screen, this is just product information screen, are your taxability codes, your GL income accounts, and your production time. If you've already worked through your tax setup and the videos available there, your taxability code is whether or not your product is taxable in your place of business, in the place of operations that you service. So there's a drop-down list pulling from your taxability codes found in accounting setup, and you can reorganize or retransition any of these accounts to their correct options. The GL income account is coming from your chart of accounts. It's your sales income account in your chart of accounts. If you have created individual accounts for these products, you can again drop down this list and reassign them to any of the accounts available to your use. Most of the products you'll see are pretty generic from out of the box with just being production income, but you can break that out depending on how your accounting department would like it reflected on reports. The third column I am going to focus on is production time. And production time is the average number of days it takes you to produce that particular family of products. For example, digital prints includes flatbed and roll stock prints, maybe banners or Coro signs, something of that nature. And we're saying on average it takes us 5 days, 5 lead days, 5 lead day times to produce that job. Some of your more advanced products might take longer. Some of your quicker products like cut vinyls or something of that nature might be shorter. But just what is that average time? This function is used if you choose to turn on automated due dates, the option to calculate your automatic due date. It's going to look at each individual product you put on an order, figure out who has the max production time, and set your due date to that time. There are other columns and other options that you can explore with your point person to activate any of those columns for display. You can right-click anywhere in your grid, and there is an option for choose column or column chooser. That will bring open a grid and allow you to choose other fields to display and update while in this option. Any of the UDF fields, I would just double check with your point person, make sure that you understand what those UDFs are referencing in your shop and in your setup, and then you can add them to your grid and make changes similarly through this option. If you have any questions about inactivating your products or what a certain product does, feel free to join us on the startup webinar hosted at 11 Central, and or you can email or reach out to your point person for a more in-depth discussion. Thank you and have a great day.